A talisman is ideally charmed by a witch to provide power, energy, and specific benefits to its owner.
I had remembered I mentioned the rabbit's foot that my mother had given to me when I was younger, and how that was supposedly like a lucky charm. How is someone killed a rabbit to give me this foot, this furry colored foot? I mean, rabbits aren't even blue. And she was like, Taryn, it was dead when when they took its foot and decided to go and sell it. And I was like, oh, okay, well, I guess I'll put it on my keychain. So yeah, I did that, and it did bring some good luck.
The main lucky charm that I have, I don't have too many, but it's a 4-leaf clover keyring that my wife and father-in-law gave to me at the Athens Olympics.
Pink, neon pink to add to it, laces for breast cancer awareness. Then one day I was just like, let me just take a part of this. I mean, I haven't lost sense.
I do have a lucky charm. This is a tungsten band that my husband gave me to race in. Before I hop in the gate, I just give it a little kiss.
I was in the 7th grade. My mom gave me this bullet necklace that she told me I was faster than a speeding bullet. I remember the one time I didn't race with it. I finished 3rd at the NCAA finals, and I figured I'd never run without it again.
Welcome back to Face the Truth. Today we're talking about amulets, lucky charms, and other objects people hold on to because they believe it'll bring them positive results. But does God approve of the use of these kinds of objects? Let us read what is written in the book of Ezekiel. The chapter is 13 and the verse is 18. This is what the sovereign Lord says. Woe to the women who sew magic charms on all their wrists and make veils of various lengths for their heads in order to ensnare people. Will you ensnare the lives of my people, but preserve your own? Amulets and magic charms are associated with idolatry and sorcery, which are clearly an abomination to God. Now, jewelry by themselves are not against the will of God, but if it is associated with known pagan practices, and if it involves divination, spells, sorcery, witchcraft, and others, which is what amulets are, then such piece of jewelry becomes detestable before God, and God's people must not have anything to do with it. Now, what did God instruct his people as they entered the land God was giving them? Here in the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 18, and the verses are 9 through 13, this is what we can read. When you enter the land the Lord your God is giving you, do not learn to imitate the detestable ways of the nations there. Let no one be found among you who sacrifices their son or daughter in the fire, who practices divination or sorcery, interprets omens, engages in witchcraft, or casts spells, or is a medium or spiritist, or who consults the dead. Anyone who does these things is detestable to the Lord. Because of these same detestable practices, the Lord your God will drive out those nations before you. You must be blameless before the Lord your God. Now notice that God gave the strict instruction to his people not to imitate the detestable ways of pagan nations. Now, what are some of these detestable practices in the eyes of God? Just like what we've read, divination, sorcery, witchcraft, spells, these things clearly should not be done by God's people. And God's people should not wear amulets of such kind. They do not bring peace and protection, but rather the anger of God. However, is there something that God does instruct us to wear for peace and prosperity? Well, let's read now what's written in the book of Proverbs. The chapter is 3 and the verses are 1 through 4. My son, do not forget my teaching, but keep my commands in your heart. For they will prolong your life many years and bring you peace and prosperity. Let love and faithfulness never leave you. Bind them around your neck, write them on the tablet of your heart. Then you will win favor and a good name in the sight of God and man. And so notice that God instructs us to bind around our neck His teachings and commands. How? By not forgetting and keeping His commandments. And if we do this, we will have a long, prosperous life, and we will win favor and a good name in the sight of God and man. But instead of turning to God and His words, where do many people look to for blessings? Let's take a look at this.
I have a lucky pair of socks I wear because I usually double up on socks I wear on my throwing shoes.
My lucky pair of socks packed, and I make sure that I wear them before every race, make sure they're on nice and snug.
One thing I always do is I always put my stuff on my left foot first. Like I'll put my left cleat on before my right cleat and my left shin guard on before my right shin guard.
You know, if you believe something's lucky, and, you know, I mean, anything that you truly believe can be like magical. I mean, it works if you really believe it.
Now, do you believe in luck? There are people who have lucky pennies, a rabbit's foot, a lucky sweater, and others. Now, it may sound innocent enough, but is luck consistent with the Word of God? Well, find out when we return on Face the Truth.